Good morning, and it's 6:30 right now, and my car is not starting up. Can you please start up? Yes, my G. Yep. So today's topic. Thank you for shutting down. So today's topic is about doing hard things. Basically, doing things that release healthy dopamine in the long run. Let's say. What I'm currently understanding is that even though we don't enjoy certain things, we must regularly, I believe, push ourselves to do certain things. And what are these certain things? For example, today I woke up at 6 a.m. and I didn't really need to wake up at 6 a.m. because it's holiday and I had a shit ton of time to go to gym throughout the day. However, what I notice is that when I wake up and get to working, I usually have better days. I usually have more focused, how can I say? I live in a healthier way, let's say. Because getting up at this time and directly starting your day with training, or it doesn't have to be training as well, it can be just studying or working for anything that is important for you, not doing something that is like watching videos or stuff, just not depleting your dopamine early in the day, makes my day much better. So right now I will go to the gym and I will train some weights, I will lift some weights, and then after that I will do some cardio. And I can't express you how good I feel when I do this, because what I understand is even though hard things are really painful, they are a pain in the ass while doing, they give you a huge amount of pleasure and a huge amount of relief after you actually do them. Because we know what dopamine is basically at the time that we're living. It's something that our current decade we have managed to hijack, we have managed to understand how it's working and then use it as a way to hook people into doing certain things by hijacking their dopamine systems. And because of this, there are tons of ways that we can get huge dopamine spikes in really unhealthy ways, and this makes us feel depressed, makes us feel more pain afterwards, because the dopamine system, just like every other system in our body, is in a state of homeostasis. And the homeostasis basically means a balanced state. So if something increases up to a level, it must then decrease back so that the balance in our body can be kept. So if you spike your dopamine real quick by doing instant gratification activities like watching porn, masturbation, watching Netflix, eating junk food, and all these bad habits, it will spike your dopamine real quick, but in turn it will lead you to drop so damn deep in that balanced state, and you'll feel like shit because you've got shit ton of dopamine without actually doing anything worth of doing. And as a result, your dopamine is spiked like crazy. It will fall like crazy as well. So unhealthy dopamine is something that actually kills you. It makes you feel like a piece of shit, basically. And we all experience these type of dopamine, especially in the times of rut when we indulge in these bad activities. However, dopamine can also be released in other ways as well. And that is by doing hard things. When you do hard things, the dopamine release, of course, it's not as fast, it's not as quick, it's not as pleasurable. But the dopamine release and the dopamine stores, when you get them after doing that hard thing, it does not go away. It stays there. And in time, your dopamine stores even increasing more. So you start enjoying the other things that you do even more. Because dopamine not only gives us pleasure, but it also drives us, motivates us to do humanly things. When what are these? These are things like, in the past it was like hunting, having sex, and building a shelter. All of these things, we needed dopamine to actually be driven in order to do these. So when we do similar things in our current decade, in our current lives, we also get healthy spikes of dopamine. And as a result of this, our mental state, our mood is much better, much more elevated when we actually do these hard things. So doing hard things, yes, they have some other benefits as well, other than this dopamine thing and this mental reset and other than this mental benefits. Yes, of course there are other benefits like training. Of course you will have a good looking body. Of course you will burn some fat. Of course you will look better, but these are just things from the outside. But from the inside, doing hard things, I believe, have a much greater impact on a person's life. Because what I've heard recently as well, and I strongly agree with this, the real battlefield is not really outside. It's not really with other people. It's not really with the things that happen outside. Of course, that's a battlefield as well. But the real battlefield, the real one, is in here, in our heads. And that's the war that we, most of us at least, tend to not be able to win. Our minds are most of the times occupied by very bad thoughts. We are very unmotivated, we have very bad feelings, we have generally a bad mood, and this can really affect how you perform. Because let's be real, even though we can't be feeling well 100% of the time, yes, let's be real, we perform better when our minds are not occupied by some bullshit. If our minds are just constantly trying to self-destruct by these bad thoughts, it's not really easy to focus on your tasks. It's not really easy to focus on your work. At least that's the case for me. When my mind is clear, when I don't have shit that I'm thinking about, bad shit by the way, some bullshit that I'm thinking about, I perform better. I can focus on my task much better, and as a result I work better and I get better results as well. And doing hard things, as a result of this mental reset that you get, kind of clears up your mind. At least that's what I felt. So just like meditation, just like journaling, I believe doing hard things is another type of mental health thing. It really alleviates, it really helps your mental health. So I believe, even though you don't feel like doing certain things, we should try to fit some more tasks into our day to get that healthy dopamine in. And this does not have to be large tasks as well. Like, this can even be as small as tidying up your room, getting away from your phone for 15 or 20 or 30 minutes, and starting your day off with a healthy meal, and then maybe you can walk like 15 minutes at the start of the day. And all these things are, even though they are small tasks, they give you that healthy dopamine spikes, and they give you that momentum that you need to get to harder tasks. And yeah, that's why I believe hard tasks are an essential part of life. And all of the things that I talk about are actually kind of linking to each other. I don't know if you noticed, because in the past videos we have talked about suffering, and how chosen suffering is necessary. And these tasks that I talked about today is also a type of chosen suffering, because they might not be easy. You might be suffering while you're doing them, but afterwards you will grow. You will become more mature, you will become a more competent person. So yeah, all of the things are actually linked when you look at the big picture. But in order to see the big picture, we must start from seeing the small ones and then go on from there. We must go step by step and do as much as we can in the time being, and then in time we will see the bigger picture and things start to come together. Things will start to click. Even though in your journey you might feel like you're not getting anything besides just small wins here and there, hold on to those small wins, because that is going to make the big picture visible. That is going to alleviate your pain. That is going to heal you in the long run. And in the long run, when that big picture is visible, you will be glad that you did this. You'll be glad that you've begun this journey to improve yourself. And yeah, you will have a smile on your face, man, in the end. So I'm very close to the gym. I'll be there in like 3 minutes. And that's all for this video. I'm not gonna do like really crazy editing for this one, because this video was just kind of a thoughtful video that I wanted to record while driving, so I'm not gonna have any crazy edits on this. But yeah, catch you on the next one.